military academy. So knowing all this, the Americans use Pakistan for their interests and allow Pakistan to come close to them, as indeed Trump is doing. The recent overtures which Pakistan has made towards America and vice versa are baffling because they underline the personal interests as regards business of President Trump. He has the interest in the cryptocurrency business, he has an interest in real estate, and that is making him overlook the most dangerous dimensions of Pakistan. So, Russia has not done that. Russia has always remained a good and consistent friend for us. Russia has been a steady partner. In fact, it has helped us in every way possible with regard to the transfer of defense technology. Of course, we have a close defense partnership with the Americans, but they are very tight when it comes to transfer of technology, whereas the Russians are much more forthcoming and they suit our ambitions of Make in India defense projects. So the Russians, as I said, are maintaining a more steady and a closer relationship with us and are sensitive to our concerns as regards Pakistan. Whereas, on the other hand, both China and the United States use Pakistan for their own interests, which doesn't go very well with us.
Yeah. Ambassador Veerashankar, if I can just quickly bring you in, because what we also witnessed just about a few hours ago was when French President Macron arrived in China, and this was largely a push that is also being made by the European countries to bring around President Putin. Do you think that would also be, feature majorly as far as the talks that are going to happen today in terms of what happens to the future of the peace talks?
I was trying to make, but I was cut off twice, that there are two aspects to the relationship. One is what is the new direction you can give to strengthening the strategic areas of economic cooperation between India and Russia, and there you'll have a roadmap. And the second, really, from the point of view of the two countries, would be what is happening in Ukraine and the prospects of peace there, because the US has accelerated its efforts to find a peaceful solution to the Ukraine conflict, bring about an end. It had put forward a 28-point roadmap, or a peace plan, which the Ukrainians and the Europeans have spurned. They didn't like it. They said it was too weighted in favor of Russia. It was amended. And the new plan has been discussed with the Russians, who have said that there are some areas where there is convergence, but the crucial question of territory remains open. So for India, I think it's important that there is progress in terms of peace in Ukraine, because at some level we are bearing the brunt of the fallout from the worsening of relations and the military conflict between the West, between NATO, the US and NATO, and Russia on the other hand, in Ukraine. And peace opens up the possibility of reintegration of Russia into the global economy, therefore making it easier for India and Russia to navigate their economic relationship. So I think these are the two crucial questions really on the table. As far as the peace plan is concerned, India is not a player. We really are someone who wishes the peace process well. So we will hear President Putin out and we will hear his concerns and how he sees it developing. Of course, we will also look at what we can do in strategic areas with Russia in line with our desire to build our own defense capabilities. So the defense minister, Rajnath Singh, has said that because we are trying to promote production in India, there is scope for the two countries to work together on niche technologies. And here we have a concern which has arisen from Russia's extension in the military conflicts, that our deliveries have been delayed. So how can they be speeded up? 2 batteries of S-400s are still due to be delivered. And we would probably like to order 4 or 5 more batteries, but it's a question of when they would arrive and what the delivery schedule would be. The Russians have offered us Su-57 fifth generation stealth fighters. There'll be some discussions on this. It's a bit premature for decisions. And as I mentioned, civil nuclear energy, especially small modular reactors, where Russia is the only country which has actually an operational SMR today, floating one. These are roughly going to be the areas which we focus on, but also a mobility pact which will allow Indian workers to go to Russia. And the Russians have just ratified, the Russian parliament has just ratified the reciprocal extension of logistic support between the two countries. And we will look at how we can activate more frequently the new, Vladivostok to Chennai maritime corridor and other connectivity projects which will enable more trade and
Ambassador Shankar, ma'am, very sorry to be interjecting again, but we have to keep in mind the fact that continuous pictures, live pictures are also coming as we continue to discuss this. Stay with us, and we have to tell the viewers what's really happening, because they would be interested in this bit also. President Putin has arrived at the Raj Ghat. There is going to be a wreath-laying ceremony, paying of floral tributes as it happens, and everything is ready. President Putin has gone inside, and he's coming out on the other side into the Raj Ghat area. Yes, there he is. Leslie.
समदृष्टीने कृष्णा त्यागी तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जेने दृढ़ वैराग्य जिना मन मारे राम नाम शू ताली लागे सकल तीरथ तेरा तन मारे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे वनलोभीने कपट रहित छे काम क्रोध निवार्या रे घणे नरसैयो तेनु दर्शन करता कुळ एको तार्या रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे पर दुखे उपकार करे तोए मन अभिमान नाने रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
सेकंड का हो गया ना तो अभी हो गया अरे हट पीछे करके करो तो
आराम से कर लो ना तुम चार तो आदमी हो
ये जूम करके कर लेते तो सब हो गया एक सेकंड बोलो सेकंड को अंदर देख रहे हो सुनो भैया बीच में कौन दूसरा
यार पास से नहीं होता उससे ज्यादा थोड़ा
लो यार आप लोग
एक मिनट रुको यार तुम लोग लिया यार तुम डिस्टर्ब करते हो
कर लो
All right, so those were pictures of President Putin paying his respects to the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, at the Raj Ghat. He also signed a tributes book with his comments on the occasion, and now I believe he has left or already leaving, and that brings to end the ceremonial welcome part as it goes very protocol driven in the morning. From here, he is heading straight to the Hyderabad house where the two leaders are going to have delegation level talks. That's for about a couple of hours, following which there would be a joint statement. And Shawan, we can in fact now let the leaders meet at Hyderabad house. Till then, focus on what's really happening across the country, particularly the chaos at the airports.
Well, we'll do that in a short while from now as we're getting in more news as far as the aviation crisis that's looming large right now. Just to quickly stay with these images that are coming in from Rajpath, and thereafter both the leaders head to Hyderabad house for the bilateral talks to take place. In terms of what are we to really expect on the agenda, in fact, there are also reports now coming in from the Russian side with regards to the nuclear push that is expected in the meeting that's going to take place. Some reports also suggesting, Abhishek, that perhaps from the Indian side, the peace talks are also something that may figure in the talks that are going to take place between both the leaders. Kremlin, on the other hand, has basically indicated that in terms of the agenda, following is what they're expecting them to talk about. One is the SMR pitch that Russia is essentially making with regards to the nuclear proliferation. And the second is with regards to energy. In fact, some talks are happening as far as the ruble-rupee trade is concerned. And there was stumbling block in the ruble-rupee trade is concerned. That we are being told is also going to be ironed out. So some headlines expected to really emerge in the next few hours. These are the images now coming in from Raj Ghat, and in a short while from now, both the leaders would be reaching Hyderabad House.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
सर थोड़ा सा पीछे आ जाएंगे सर। सर इसके बैरिकेड के पीछे आ जाएंगे।
Upon the arrival of Russian President Vladimir Putin, Prime Minister Narendra Modi surprised everyone by personally receiving him at Delhi's Palam Airport. This is a rare gesture that moves away from the standard diplomatic protocol, where normally a minister or senior official welcomes a visiting head of state. President Putin landed in Palam Airport at 7 p.m., where a red carpet was rolled out as a welcoming gesture.
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
And Europe, all of a sudden, wants to start a war. And if it does start a war, then very rapidly there might be a situation where we have no one to negotiate with.
When Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that if Europe starts a fight...
This is Republic Jack Oliver's studio. Stay tuned for all the breaking news and updates. I am Tanisha Awasthi. Let's get started.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
MDH
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
सर थोड़ा सा पीछे आ जाएंगे सर सर इसके बैरिकेड के पीछे आ जाए
Upon the arrival of Russian President Vladimir Putin, Prime Minister Narendra Modi surprised everyone by personally receiving him at Delhi's Palam airport. This is a rare gesture that moves away from the standard diplomatic protocol, where normally a minister or senior official welcomes a visiting head of state. President Putin landed in Palam airport at 7 p.m., where a red carpet was rolled out as a welcoming gesture. Kremlin's
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Ceremonial welcome given to President Putin in a short while from now. The bilateral talk with Prime Minister Modi to begin. Bilateral talks to begin around a little after 12 noon. On the negotiating table, major nuclear deals likely to be signed. Major chaos across the country as Indigo cancels flights till midnight. After Mumbai, Indigo says no domestic flights to run from Delhi airport till midnight tonight. As major airlines go in a mess, DGC asks Indigo to regulate the fares. Meanwhile, hotels around major airports also hike prices to 60,000 per night. Well, there's absolutely no respite coming in as Indigo cancels all departing flights from Chennai airport till about 6 o'clock this evening. In fact, Delhi airport has also made an announcement a short while back stating that Indigo has cancelled all flights till about midnight. This after multiple flights have been cancelled this morning. Some passengers were still stranded. In fact, it seems similar images coming in from across the country, starting from Thiruvananthapuram to all the way in Patna, where the latest now coming in of passengers not receiving any communication from the airline. As we speak, there's also a meeting that is underway at the Ministry of Civil Aviation. In fact, a templated response really coming in from the Civil Aviation Ministry about a review that is being done with the airlines. In fact, let me go across to my colleagues, Shambhavi, who's joining us from the Delhi airport. Shambhavi, what's the condition right now like? It seems that there is a direct ripple effect that's taking place with other airlines now spiking their airfares.
Right, we've spoken to several passengers who've booked their flights with Indigo and are aggrieved and delays. And also we also spoke to an entire team of company who was back there in Bangalore attending an event, and their 5-day event turned into a 7-day with several of their employees still stuck in several other airports. They've not received their luggage yet. There were also a young couple who were here who were traveling with their very young child, and they shared how it was very difficult for them to even procure any kind of food or water. And even inside, although we're not allowed inside, but inside what we've been told by the passengers that we were able to speak till now, they're telling us that the entire airport has turned into a railway station with people lying there on the floor everywhere, because Indigo has now, of course, just a few minutes back, Indigo has announced that all the flights stand.
So to this image is now coming in from Hyderabad House, where the bilateral talks are going to take place in a short while from now. In fact, there you have, these are the latest images. The last time both the leaders met was just before the Ukraine war actually began. And in fact, this happens to be the first meeting that's taking place in the national capital between both the leaders. Several other meetings took place between Prime Minister Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin on the sidelines of the SCO in the past. But having said that, this is a meeting that is being watched very closely by the European countries. Importantly, what are the major takeaways as far as the meeting that's going to take place today? There you have Russian President in the Oris arriving at Hyderabad House, where the bilateral talks are going to begin in a short while from now. In fact, as far as the bilateral talks are concerned, there's going to be a massive push that's expected to come in from the Russian side as far as the nuclear power hard sell is concerned. In fact, the Russians on board bringing in new generation large nuclear reactors that are to be brought in, and essentially the serial production that's going to take place. But the imaging that has been done in the last 24 hours, primarily with the Prime Minister landing at the Palam Technical Airport, receiving President Putin, the hug that takes place, and then of course the big headline coming in from both the leaders actually deciding to hop into the same car and spend the evening at 7 LKM, where there was a private dinner that took place that lasted for a couple of hours. And now the business begins. In fact, Russian President Vladimir Putin comes with one of the biggest delegation. The first deputy prime minister, who had landed just before President Putin, had come in behind both the leaders. The delegation also walking in. What you would essentially expect both the leaders now doing is introducing each other's delegations also. Let me go across to my colleague Rakshita, who's joining us on this broadcast. Rakshita, on the negotiating table, some big ticket deals expected. We seem to have lost the line with Rakshita, who's joining us from Hyderabad House. In fact, we'll also go across to our experts who are basically joining us on this broadcast. Just to put this into perspective, what's really expected? Some essentially argued that this is essentially taking forward what was discussed previously in terms of some of the deals that have already been signed. The challenges, the key challenges that the Russians really face right now is the deadline that they have essentially given in terms of handing over multiple defense deals that have been signed in the past. We'll try and go across to our guests. Vinay Shukla is joining us on this broadcast. Vinay, let me first take with you with regards to what's really expected, the big takeaways from both the leaders coming together.
Well, I think that 25 agreements has to be signed, that 10 of them intergovernmental and 15 are the trade thing. And mostly the focus will be on economy in Russia, Indian exports to Russia, more to encourage such things. So, and the defense, of course, they are they are in the media, all those things about the fifth generation fighter and missiles S-400, 500. But I think there's nothing going to be signed as such. Only they're discussed or whatever has to be signed has been signed. So officially they won't announce this defense deals in a big way. And second, the one thing is important, which is I think is there, that India, Russia's Roscosmos and ISRO are going to sign agreement on joint production of rocket engines.
which is, of course, since India is expanding its space program and Russia has the expertise in this, it's a good thing. It's a future-oriented thing. I think that many things will be future-oriented also, or long-term implications. So let us see, wait for some time.
Mr. Shukla, I'll request you to stay on with us. I want to quickly go across to my colleague Rakshita, who's joining us from outside the Hyderabad house. Rakshita, lots spoken about what's really expected to really come out from the bilateral talks that are taking place. On the agenda that came in from the Kremlin side was largely with regards to an extension of the deals that have already been signed. So not major announcements that are really expected to come in after the bilateral talks.
Yes, Shravan, well, what we understand is that at least what we are learning, of course not officially, but it could be 10 intergovernmental documents and more than 15 agreements and memorandums between commercial and non-commercial entities that are expected here to be in the works, and they are of course already in the works, and trade of course will be at the center of it all. Trade and defense, as you mentioned. India, of course, Moscow has been the top defense supplier for decades as far as India is concerned. So yes, India, given the global climate right now, there are of course tensions with the United States in context of trade, and Moscow becomes very, very important here given the fact that how realignment is happening. So yes, there will be agreements, we understand. There could be MOUs that will be signed. There is nothing spelled out, as you rightly mentioned, officially. There are a lot of talk about the Sukhoi 57. There's talk about the S-400, the delivery of the remaining two. Of course, that is something that even MOS, I beg your pardon, the Defense Secretary has made it very, very clear just a few days ago ahead of the visit of the President of Russia. But yes, there could be talks between the two leaders. How do they manifest, of course, remains to be seen. With regards to civil nuclear deals, that, of course, also becomes very, very important. India, of course, this is the first visit to India of President Vladimir Putin in 4 long years. And given how the war in Ukraine still continues and India continues to grapple with the trade talks, the trade tariffs with regards to Washington, D.C., all eyes will be on the joint statement, Shravan, that comes out after the talks are held on the delegation level, and of course both the leaders discussing, holding discussions on these topics.
एक्सेलेंसी, आपकी यात्रा बहुत ही ऐतिहासिक है। 2001 में जब आपने कार्यभार संभाला और भारत की आपकी यात्रा पहली हुई, उसको आज 25 साल हो गए, और उस पहली यात्रा में ही स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप की एक मजबूत नींव रखी गई थी।
Ваше превосходительство, дорогой друг, я очень рад этой возможности встретиться с вами и поприветствовать вас и вашу делегацию в нашей стране. Начиная с вчерашнего дня, представители вашей делегации провели очень много мероприятий, заседаний с своими коллегами с индийской стороны, и мы видим очень много результатов и соглашений по окончанию нашего саммита ежегодного. Поэтому я уверен, что наш саммит станет весьма успешным. И ваш нынешний визит, уважаемый господин президент, имеет по-настоящему историческое значение. Ровно 25 лет назад вы впервые посетили Индию в качестве президента Российской Федерации и заложили основы нашего стратегического партнерства.
मेरे लिए पर्सनली भी खुशी की बात है कि आपके साथ मेरे परिचय को और संबंधों को उसको भी 25 साल हो गए हैं।
Для меня лично тоже это важное событие, потому что мы знакомы с вами 25 лет.
एक्सेलेंसी, मैं मानता हूं कि ये जो 2001 में आपने जो भूमिका अदा की, एक विजनरी लीडर कैसे सोचता है, कहां से शुरू करता है और संबंधों को कहां तक पहुंचा सकता है, इसका एक उत्तम उदाहरण भारत रशिया के संबंध है।
Уважаемый господин президент, ваша роль, начиная с 2000 года, за последние 2,5 десятилетия, свидетельствует о вашем дальновидном и твердом руководстве и о том, как развивать двусторонние отношения. И это хороший пример для других отношений, как индийско-российские отношения развиваются.
एक्सेलेंसी, यूक्रेन के संकट के बाद हमारी लगातार चर्चा होती रही है। आपने भी समय समय पर एक सच्चे मित्र के रूप में हमें सभी चीजों से अवगत कराया है। मैं समझता हूं कि ये विश्वास बहुत बड़ी ताकत है और आपको मैंने अनेक बार इस विषय की चर्चा भी की है और विश्व समक्ष भी मैंने रखा है कि विश्व का कल्याण शांति के मार्ग पर ही है। हम सबको मिलकर के शांति के रास्ते तलाशने चाहिए और पिछले दिनों जो प्रयास चल रहे हैं, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि विश्व फिर से एक बार शांति की दिशा में लौटेगा।
Уважаемый господин президент, мы регулярно обмениваемся мнениями по поводу Украины. Вы, как истинный друг, рассказываете мне о том, что происходит в этом направлении. Это свидетельствует о глубоком доверии между нашими странами. Это и есть сила, настоящая сила наших отношений. Мы видим, мир переживает очень много перемен, но мы последовательно поддерживаем позиции установления мира, скорейшего установления мира, и поддерживаем все усилия, недавние в этом направлении. И мы должны все работать сообща для того, чтобы работать в этом направлении для установления мира. И я полностью уверен, что мир пойдет вновь на этом пути.
एक्सेलेंसी, पिछले दिनों विश्व समुदाय के सभी नेताओं से जब भी मेरी बात हुई है और उन्होंने जब विस्तार से मेरे चर्चा की, मैंने हमेशा कहा है कि भारत न्यूट्रल नहीं है, भारत का पक्ष है और वो पक्ष शांति का है। हम शांति के हर प्रयासों का समर्थन करते हैं और हम शांति के हर प्रयासों के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिला करके खड़े हैं।
Ваше превосходительство, когда я встречаюсь с мировыми лидерами, я всегда им говорю, что Индия не нейтральная страна. У Индии нет нейтральной позиции. У нас своя позиция, и эта позиция в пользу мира. Это позиция мира. И мы поддерживаем все усилия, которые направлены на установление мира. И мы будем двигаться плечом к плечу со всеми державами, которые держатся этой пути.
पूरे विश्व ने कोविड से लेकर के अब तक कई संकटों से गुजरा है। हम आशा करते हैं कि बहुत ही जल्द विश्व को चिंताओं से मुक्ति मिलेगी और एक सही दिशा में प्रगति के राह पर विश्व समुदाय को एक नई आशा पैदा होगी। एक्सेलेंसी, मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि आज दिन भर हम अनेक विषयों पर चर्चा करने वाले हैं। भारत और रशिया के आर्थिक संबंधों का अधिक विस्तार हो, हम नई नई ऊंचाइयों को प्राप्त करें, ऐसे बहुत ही आशावादी आउटकम के साथ हम हमारी इस मीटिंग को आगे बढ़ाएंगे, यह मेरा पूरा विश्वास है।
Уважаемый господин президент, весь мир страдал от пандемии ковид, и были также разные другие кризисы, поэтому мы надеемся, что мир вновь на пути прогресса, развития, и наша встреча будет вселить надежду в этот вопрос. Уважаемый господин президент, сегодня весь день мы будем разговаривать по разным темам. Пускай наша встреча придаст новый импульс нашему экономическому сотрудничеству. Мы возлагаем большие надежды на нашу сегодняшнюю встречу, и мы ожидаем хороших результатов по итогам нашей встречи.
माय फ्रेंड, मैं फिर से एक बार आपका और आपके डेलीगेशन हृदय से बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूँ।
Дорогой друг, еще раз хотел бы поприветствовать вас и вашу делегацию в Индии.
Спасибо.
Спасибо большое. Thank you very much. Уважаемый господин премьер-министр, дорогие друзья, прежде всего спасибо большое за приглашение.
Excellency, Prime Minister, dear friends, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me.
И за вчерашний очень добрый вечер.
And for the yesterday's evening too, was very good.
Дружеский, в то же время с такой содержательной, очень полезной беседой.
We had a friendly and at the same time a very substantial talk.
У нас была возможность, и дали мне такую возможность подробно рассказать о том, что происходит на как раз украинском направлении.
I could share a great deal of details about the events taking place in Ukraine.
И что нами предпринимается совместно с некоторыми другими партнерами, в том числе с Соединенными Штатами, по вопросу возможного мирного урегулирования этого кризиса.
And the actions we are taking together with some partners, including the United States, on a possible peaceful settlement.
Спасибо вам за это внимание и спасибо за ваши усилия, направленные на разрешение этой ситуации.
Thank you for the attention and for your efforts aimed at finding a solution to this situation.
Что касается наших отношений, то они действительно носят очень глубокий исторический характер, как бы мы его не характеризовали, какими бы эпитетами его не украшали. Важно другое, важно содержание. А содержание очень глубокое.
Our relations are deeply rooted into history, but it is not the words that matter, it is the substance of the matter, which is very profound.
Мы этим очень дорожим, и мы видим, что вы, уважаемый господин премьер-министр, уделяете этому тоже очень большое личное внимание.
We really appreciate that, and the fact that you, Executive Prime Minister, pay special personal attention to that.
За прошедшие годы нами проделана очень большая работа в развитии наших отношений.
Over the past years, we have done a great deal of work to develop our relationship.
И по мере развития наших стран, по мере развития экономик наших государств, возможности нашего сотрудничества расширяются.
As our countries and our economies move forward, we have more opportunities for cooperation.
У нас появляются новые направления.
We open additional areas for cooperation,
связанные с высокими технологиями,
including those related to high-tech,
связанные с развитием и совместной работы в области авиации, космоса, высоких технологий в широком смысле слова, искусственного интеллекта.
As well as the cooperation of aircraft, space exploration, high-tech and artificial intelligence.
У нас очень доверительные отношения в сфере военно-технического взаимодействия.
We have very close and trusting cooperation in the military and technical area.
Мы намерены двигаться по всем этим направлениям.
And we are planning to move forward in all of these areas.
Это только лишний раз подчеркивает уровень, характер и доверительность наших связей.
This once again underscores the level and the trust of our relationship.
Наши команды очень хорошо поработали в преддверии этого визита.
Our teams have done a great work before this visit.
Подготовлен целый ряд документов солидных.
They have prepared a great number of documents for us.
У нас есть возможность на чем-то остановиться, что-то обсудить дополнительно.
We have an opportunity to talk in more detail about some of them.
Ну и уверен, что мы сегодняшний рабочий день завершим с хорошим результатом.
I'm sure that we'll have a very fruitful working day.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much.
That's the latest visual coming in, ladies and gentlemen, from the Hyderabad house, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is having a full complement bilateral discussions for the 23rd annual summit between India and Russia with Russian President Vladimir Putin. There was a strong statement coming in from the Russian president there, saying that he is hopeful and he has full faith that we will enhance the economic ties between India and Russia and scale the relationship to even greater heights. The Russian president there once again reaffirming the special privileged partnership that the both nations have together. All right, let's once again listen in to that key statement coming in from Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Prime Minister as they speak at the Hyderabad house.
Excellency, मेरे परम मित्र, मेरे लिए खुशी की बात है कि मुझे फिर से एक बार भारत में आपका स्वागत करने का अवसर मिला है। कल से आपके डेलीगेशन के लोग अनेक मीटिंगों में व्यस्त रहे हैं और बहुत सारे आउटकम के साथ आज हमारी ये समिट आगे बढ़ रही है। एक्सेलेंसी, आपकी यात्रा बहुत ही ऐतिहासिक है। 2001 में जब आपने कार्यभार संभाला और भारत की आपकी यात्रा पहली हुई उसको आज 25 साल हो गए और उस पहली यात्रा में ही स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप की एक मजबूत नींव रखी गई थी। मेरे लिए पर्सनली भी खुशी की बात है कि आपके साथ मेरे परिचय को और संबंधों को उसको भी 25 साल हो गए हैं। एक्सेलेंसी, मैं मानता हूं कि ये जो 2001 में आपने जो भूमिका अदा की, एक विजनरी लीडर कैसे सोचता है, कहां से शुरू करता है और संबंधों को कहां तक पहुंचा सकता है, इसका एक उत्तम उदाहरण भारत रशिया के संबंध है। एक्सेलेंसी, यूक्रेन के संकट के बाद हमारी लगातार चर्चा होती रही है। आपने भी समय समय पर एक सच्चे मित्र के रूप में हमें सभी चीजों से अवगत कराया है। मैं समझता हूं कि विश्वास बहुत बड़ी ताकत है और आपको मैंने अनेक बार इस विषय की चर्चा भी की है और विश्व समक्ष भी मैंने रखा है कि विश्व का कल्याण शांति के मार्ग पर ही है। हम सबको मिलकर के शांति के रास्ते तलाशने चाहिए और पिछले दिनों जो प्रयास चल रहे हैं, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि विश्व फिर से एक बार शांति की दिशा में लौटेगा। एक्सेलेंसी, पिछले दिनों विश्व समुदाय के सभी नेताओं से जब भी मेरी बात हुई है और उन्होंने जब विस्तार से मेरी चर्चा की, मैंने हमेशा कहा है कि भारत न्यूट्रल नहीं, भारत का पक्ष है और वो पक्ष शांति का है। हम शांति के हर प्रयासों का समर्थन करते हैं और हम शांति के हर प्रयासों के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिला करके खड़े हैं। पूरे विश्व ने कोविड से लेकर के अब तक कई संकटों से गुजरा है। हम आशा करते हैं कि बहुत ही जल्द विश्व को चिंताओं से मुक्ति मिलेगी और एक सही दिशा में प्रगति के राह पर विश्व समुदाय को एक नई आशा पैदा होगी। एक्सेलेंसी, मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि आज दिन भर हम अनेक विषयों पर चर्चा करने वाले हैं। भारत और रशिया के आर्थिक संबंधों का अधिक विस्तार हो, हम नई नई ऊंचाइयों को प्राप्त करें, ऐसे बहुत ही आशावादी आउटकम के साथ हम हमारी इस मीटिंग को आगे बढ़ाएंगे, यह मेरा पूरा विश्वास है। माय फ्रेंड, मैं फिर से एक बार आपका और आपके डेलीगेशन हृदय से बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं।
The 23rd edition of the India-Russia bilateral summit is underway at the Hyderabad House. Both President Putin and Prime Minister Modi have given their initial opening statements to the media, and we will be now waiting for that joint statement when we come right back, ladies and gentlemen. After a very short break, do not go anywhere. The fastest updates on President Putin's visit, only on Republic.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला।
And Europe, all of a sudden, wants to start a war. And if it does start a war, then...
From the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India, the law roars louder, real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend, on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
सर थोड़ा सा पीछे आ जाएंगे सर। सर इसके बैरिकेड के पीछे आ जाएंगे।
Upon the arrival of Russian President Vladimir Putin, Prime Minister Narendra Modi surprised everyone by personally receiving him at Delhi's Palam airport. This is a rare gesture that moves away from the standard diplomatic protocol, where normally a minister or senior official welcomes a visiting head of state. President Putin landed in Palam airport at 7 p.m., where a red carpet was rolled out as a welcoming gesture. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov reacted to the surprise and said, Indian PM's decision to meet President Putin at the
कैसे सोचता है, कहां से शुरू करता है और संबंधों को कहां तक पहुंचा सकता है, इसका एक उत्तम उदाहरण भारत रशिया के संबंध है।
Russian President Vladimir Putin holds bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Hyderabad house. President Putin receives a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan as India and Russia summit opens. All Indigo domestic flights from Mumbai cancelled till 6 p.m. today after airlines run short on crew once again. After Mumbai, Indigo also says no domestic flights to run from Delhi airport till midnight tonight. As major airlines go in a mess, DGCA asks Indigo to regulate the fares. Meanwhile, hotels around major airports also hike prices to 6,000 per night. 60,000, beg your pardon. Ladies and gentlemen, if only the Indigo national crisis on aviation was not enough, after Mumbai and Delhi airport, we are getting in fresh information that Indigo has cancelled all departing flights from the Chennai airport till about 6 p.m. this evening. This marks the third major national airport where Indigo is not going to carry any flights today. Earlier this morning, we also got information from the Mumbai airport where Indigo has suspended all flights till 6 p.m. in the evening. In Delhi, the situation is even more dire. India's most busiest airport, Indigo is not going to operate a single flight up till 12 a.m. tonight. At least that's the information available as it stands. And now, more concerning information coming in from the Chennai airport, where Indigo has cancelled all the flights up until 6 p.m. this evening. The cascading effect of the FDTL norms on Indigo's crew management is now resulted in a widespread all-out blanket cancellation of Indigo flights across all major airports. The Indigo is in a complete state of mess where domestic flights have been cancelled en masse today. The carrier's response has been not that satisfactory to the passengers, and amidst this, the chaos is that the passengers are stranded at the airports and the fares of the hotels nearby the airports are now skyrocketing. The passenger is completely left at the lurch. My colleague Shambhavi first joins us live from the Delhi IGI airport, bringing us more details. Shambhavi, no flights for Indigo till about midnight tonight.
Well, right, Shrutat, we've been constantly reporting from the airport, and we have spoken to several people who are aggrieved by this Indigo crisis, by this airport meltdown. And you very rightly pointed out the rise in prices of the hotels or if we are talking about the rise in prices of the tickets of other airlines. We just spoke to one of the passengers who had booked a flight for Chennai, from Delhi to Chennai, Indigo, and there were several delays in the flight. Every time he went on to ask about the new timing of the flight, the Indigo people, they directed him that it's going to be 2 hours late, and that happened for several hours. And when he looked for another flight in, let's say, Air India or other airlines, the ticket, which usually costs from 9,000 to 11,000, it costed him around 60,000. So definitely we see that whether it's hotels, whether it's other airlines, they're definitely taking undue advantage of this situation of the people who are stuck on the airport. And even inside, we've been told by several passengers who've come out, whose flights have been cancelled, that the entire situation inside is like a railway station. People are lying on sheets on the airport everywhere. There's total chaos. There's shouting, sloganeering going on inside, and we know that Indigo finally has come out and said that there's a blanket cancellation on all the flights till midnight.
All right, Shambhavi, that's the latest coming in, ladies and gentlemen, from the Delhi airport. Now, let me also bring you voices of the passengers who have been stranded at the Chennai airport and the Delhi airport as the Indigo crisis continues to cascade. Just listen into the plight of the passengers, viewers.
The tickets so that we will seek some other plan through train or other. And this Indigo has done a blunder. And I firmly say that the government should take action against these companies, because see, every passengers are under van. They are in trouble. They are having small kids. They are in trouble. We are supposed to go to the Indore. Now the question is how we will go to the Indore and when we will go to the Indore, when we will reach to the destination. So the central government should take action against, and stern action should be taken against these companies, and CBI inquiry should be raised.
So what did the Indigo Airlines inform you about, whether there's a delay or whether there's a cancellation about your flight?
Yesterday the flight was cancelled, so we stay at the hotel there in Chennai, and now we are there to recover the luggage. Hopefully we'll get it.
As Indigo mentioned that your flight will be delayed or cancelled from your state also?
It was delayed, so we decided to leave because we have seen all the flight delayed, so we saw that it will never happen. So yeah, we came back to the hotel and stayed there for the night. Yeah.
Sir, did the airlines reach out to you telling that there will be a cancellation of your flight and there's no flights for the next 2 days? Because according to Indigo, until 8th there are all cancellations. No other flights are to run until the 8th. Has that information reached you yet?
Not really. It was delaying. So we decided by ourselves. And even perhaps today I'm looking at the flight is still delayed, so I don't know exactly what's happening.
Still not informed whether the flight would be either cancelled or delayed completely, and it is to their understanding that they realize it's cancelled and they are booking hotels to stay in Chennai until they reach their destination.
Passengers across the country have been facing with Indigo flights the constant cancellations and delays. Today we have with us a company, V-Star, which is a Bangalore-based company, and they are among the aggrieved people from this entire Indigo fiasco. We'll try to speak to them. Sir, क्या तकलीफ हो रही है?
मैडम देखिए, डोंट गो इंडिगो. हमको इतनी दिक्कत आई है. एक बहुत बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट हमारा सेमिनार था. अभी पूरे बैंगलोर से आए हैं, जो भी आए हैं एयर इंडिया से अदर फ्लाइट से आए हैं. अभी भी 70 लोग रुके हैं. रात 1 बजे आया है, कोई 12 बजे आया है. रीशेड्यूल करके दे रहे हैं. तुरंत 10 मिनट के बाद बोल रहे हैं कि आपका लखनऊ से उधर से इधर से फिर कैंसिल कर लो, पैसा ले लो. ओके, मैं बोलता हूँ कि वर्स्ट सर्विस है. डोंट गो इंडिगो. हम इतना टेंशन में आ गए हैं. इतना इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोग्राम है. क्या करेंगे आप इसके बारे में?
इतना तंग हो चुके हैं कि हम लोगों को इतना ये है कि हम लोगों का 5 दिन का प्रोग्राम था. एक फ्लाइट इंडिगो वजह से पूरा 5 दिन का प्रोग्राम हम लोगों को नुकसान कर दिया. सो पूरा घटिया सर्विस है. हम लोगों का अभी भी 70 लोग बाकी है.
लोगों की चिंता नहीं है. किसी कोई मरा हुआ है, कोई का इंपॉर्टेंट इंटरव्यू है, किसी की जिंदगी लगी है, कोई सामने आके रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं ले रहा है कि इनका क्या होगा. वो बोल रहे हैं कि रिफंड ले लो. रिफंड लेने के लिए आए थे क्या? कोई उनकी दाव लगी है, जिंदगी की दाव लगी है. किसी की जिंदगी मिट जाएगी, लेकिन इनको लोगों को टेंशन नहीं है. जब आपके पास घटिया सर्विस है, कोई बोल रहा है कि इनकी सैलरी नहीं दिया. अभी मैसेज तो मिल रहा है कि इनकी स्टाफ की सैलरी, क्रू की सैलरी नहीं हुई, इसलिए ये धरना कर रहे हैं। अब इनकी धरना से लोग मर रहे हैं, लोगों की जिंदगी तबाह हो रही है, इसका कौन रिस्पॉन्सिबल है?
मैडम, हमारा अभी 250 लोगों का प्रोग्राम था, ये जो बेंगलोर से दिल्ली आए हैं, दिल्ली से शिमला जाएंगे। हमारे होटल बुक है, सेमिनार था हमारा, वो अभी उसका पैसा खराब हो गया इनके चक्कर में, इंडिगो के चक्कर में। इनकी हमेशा ही रहता है ऐसा, और अब की बार तो कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है ये। अभी मतलब 250 लोगों का होटल, 250 लोगों की ट्रैवलिंग, वो सब कुछ मतलब अस्त व्यस्त कर दिया इन लोगों ने। अभी कुछ लोग हमारे आगे कुछ अभी रिशेड्यूल, खाना खा लो, ड्रिंक कर लो, ऐसे ऑफर दे रहे हैं ये लोग। तो ये इससे काम नहीं चलेगा ना।
दूसरा देखो, खाने पीने की कोई व्यवस्था तो नहीं दे रहे। ओके, एक दिन एयरपोर्ट में कॉफी पीना कितना कॉस्टली है। मिडिल क्लास, अपर मिडिल क्लास, लो मिडिल क्लास के लोग हैं, अगर वो खाना खाएंगे तो कम से कम 24 आवर्स से लोग उधर हैं। ये हमारा इतना इंपॉर्टेंट था कि ये कंपनी के साथ हमारी पूरे लोगों की हमारी टाई अप था आज। अब वो अगर नहीं है तो बड़ी कंपनी टाई अप हो रही है वी-स्टार के अंदर, तो अगर अब आज वो कैंसिल हो गया तो इसके जिम्मेदार कौन है?
आपने बताया कि अभी भी आपके कंपनी के कई लोग हैं जो फंसे हुए हैं।
अभी 70 लोग हैं मैडम, 70 लोग
जो बेंगलोर रुक गए। अभी कुछ लोग यहाँ आ गए तो मतलब व्यवस्था है तो सारी खराब होगी ना।
शुगर पेशेंट है, उनको ब्रेकफास्ट करना है, वो टैबलेट्स लेना है। अब वहाँ पर वो कितना करके खाएंगे, आउटसाइड जाएंगे तो उनको दिक्कत। अभी रिशेड्यूल करके
इंडिगो किस तरीके से प्रोवाइड नहीं कर रही है?
कुछ भी, कोई नहीं आ रहा है। वो 2-3 लोगों को अपॉइंट किया है, वो कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं ले रहे। बोल रहे हैं आप रिफंड ले लो, ये कर लो, वो कर लो। बहुत दिक्कत आ गई है मैडम, इसके ऊपर एक्शन लेना है, कड़ी एक्शन लेना है। हम तो धरना करने की सोच रहे हैं इसके बारे में।
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the largest team of reporters reporting on ground on the national aviation crisis, but I want to first go to our senior colleague Niranjan. Niranjan, it is an all-out anarchy situation in the aviation sector as it stands. The other airlines are profiteering on the crisis of Indigo. Hotel prices have gone up and passengers are left standing outside the airport without a ticket or accommodation or any redressal. What's the crisis and what are the updates that you're tracking?
Well, believe it or not, at some airlines, this morning, let me give you some examples. For example, today, as of this minute, Delhi to Chennai flight is priced at 58,000. I'm looking at the prices being shown online. For example, this is Air India flight that is charging or showing as 58,000. Right? That is only one sector, Delhi to Chennai. Similarly, when I look at some other sectors, Bengaluru to Delhi to Bangalore. If I look at the average prices, the cheapest flight right now is 20,000. If I give you some more case studies, as of this minute, there are planes, there are airlines that are costing about, that are charging about, 50 to 60,000, upwards of 80,000 on some sectors. Let me give you some specifics. There is a flight from Delhi to Bengaluru that was shown as 51,000 by Air India Express, and this was a flight that was showing for this evening 6:40 takeoff, lands at 1 a.m. Being charged 51,000, shown as 51,000 on portals, and all the other airlines that are mostly not affected, Air India Express, Akasa, SpiceJet, profiteering. You look at, for example, Air India. There is a flight that I'm looking at right now, and I have the screenshot with me. The flight from Delhi to Hyderabad to Delhi being charged at 47,000 by Air India. There is just one example. And then, believe it or not, there is a flight by SpiceJet. SpiceJet operating a flight from Mumbai to Kolkata. SpiceJet flight charged 75,000 rupees. Now the irony is, for 75,000, you can get a return ticket to America. You can get a direct flight from Delhi to America. You can get a return flight. And here you have airlines, Indian airlines like SpiceJet, Akasa, Air India Express, those airlines that have not been affected, profiteering on chaos that is ongoing. And this is, let me tell you another example. I have a flight here that is showing for 40,000 rupees. And this is a flight from Delhi to the Bengaluru sector, Akasa operating this flight, showing as 40,000 rupees for a 2-hour flight, 2-hour 40-minute flight from Delhi to Bengaluru being charged at 40,000. Now this is not just chaos for flights that are operating and airlines that are not impacted. Let me give you another example of the manner in which there is looting happening during this chaos. There are hotels, and these are mostly hotels that are very close to the airport. For example, there is Aerocity close to Delhi's IGI airport and Terminal 1, 2, 3. And in Aerocity, when the average cost of room is, let's say, between 8,000 to 15,000, Right now, 2-star and 3-star hotels also charging upwards of 30,000. So it's this insane situation. If you have a ticket, if you have a flight booked, let's say from Delhi to Bangalore, and you go to the airport, first of all, there is a long queue to enter the airport. You manage to enter the airport, and then you don't find any Indigo staff there to help you or give you an idea about when your flight is. And when you go to the boarding gate, or let's say to your gate, there is absolutely no clarity on whether your flight will take off or not. In Delhi, all flights cancelled. Mumbai, all flights cancelled till 6 o'clock. Chennai, all flights cancelled till 6 o'clock. Just today alone, in the last few hours, upwards of 600 flights have been cancelled. Yesterday, 550 flights cancelled. 1,000 and more flights cancelled as of this minute. And those who are profiteering should be really ashamed of themselves. Many airlines are charging 3x, 4x of the normal fares. And let me tell you, there is some more breaking news update that's coming in. Videos, non-stop videos coming in of the chaos at the different airports. I want to tell you that from the different airports, I think there are some videos coming in. Let's play out those videos as well, as we get you the breaking news updates.
Ladies and gentlemen, where the Bengaluru airport is seeing complete chaos as cancellations continue to ramp up for Indigo with more flight disruptions there. The passengers are completely angry. They have surrounded the counters of Indigo there. Some heavy sloganeering also taking place as the passengers demand some answers and redressal as to what is going on with Indigo Airlines, as one after the other the flights are being cancelled without prior notification. Proper redressal mechanism, refund status continues to be remaining unseen. But most importantly, Niranjan, in these situations is the passenger wants to reach their destination. India is one of the most booming aviation markets in the entire world, and aviation sector has seen a significant rise in passengers traffic. They are willing to pay a premium to travel on time to reach their destinations quickly. Many of these passengers going in for very crucial visits, some health related, some family functions related, some even for vacation or leisure, but they have connecting flights and bookings and so on and so forth, which are compounding into losses of time and both resources and money. At the same time, my colleague Shankar is also joining me live from Thiruvananthapuram, where more than 10 plus Indigo flights have been cancelled on the domestic and international sectors. Shankar, these are the visuals on your screen at the moment of the Bengaluru airport, but do tell us what's going on in Kerala and the chaos that is ensuing due to the cascading effect of this Indigo crew shortages.
As per the latest information available from the airport authorities and from the Indigo staff, as many as 6 flights are going to be cancelled in the coming minutes, because the Indigo staff claim that no flights are landing at the airport, and this is they don't know the exact reason why the flights are not arriving in the airport, and due to this they are forced to cancel as many as 6 flights soon, and in the morning they cancelled 2 flights, and with this the total number of flights which are going to be cancelled will rise to 8, and the passengers are still seated inside the airport, and they are having a quarrel with the Indigo staff, and the passengers are demanding to provide accommodation and food for them as a compensation till they get an accurate information on when they would be able to fly. In the meantime, most of the passengers are going out of the airport to get to book rooms to stay back to plan their travel arrangements. Some are even planning to go to various other destinations in interstate buses and in trains. But the interstate buses are charging high fares by making use of the situation. Like for a travel in an interstate Volvo bus was costing 1,500 rupees before. Now they are charging over 5,000 and even 6,000-7,000 rupees from the passengers. The hotels in the city are also exploiting the passengers. When we inquire at the hotels here, the hotel staff are informing that almost all the rooms are full, and by making use of the high demand, they are charging over 5,000 to 6,000 rupees for non-AC single rooms. Earlier, for a non-AC single room was only 1,500 rupees. Now the hotel staff, the hotel authorities, hotel management is charged over 5,000 to 6,000 rupees for non-AC rooms and over 10,000 rupees for a single AC room. The situation is going to get escalated in the coming hours as more and more passengers are coming out to the airport looking for alternative options.
All right, so it's complete chaos there, Shankar, as you are explaining to us in Thiruvananthapuram. Ladies and gentlemen, you just substitute the name of the airport, but the story is the same. Hike in flight prices of competitors, hike in hotel prices, hike in alternative transport, and passengers have been struck left, right and center. Let me bring you a report now coming in from Chennai that my colleague Sharda had filed just a few minutes ago, where the national skating team has been stuck there, going in for the skating championship, and how athletes also have been facing disruptions. This is just one snippet, ladies and gentlemen, one example of how passengers are missing crucial events and crucial places where they're supposed to be, but this complete apathy of this national aviation crisis triggered by Indigo crowd shortages and crew shortages has resulted in complete chaos and disruption. Take a look at this report.
Yeah, it's a very big chaotic situation that we put ourselves into this because we have no other way to go. We are in a tight situation and it's really hectic. I mean, it doesn't mean like we can't take any further decision, but it's completely terrible, dude, because we came early in the morning, we wait for the luggage drop in, then we we haven't got any mail or something that your flight is going to be cancelled. We just came here, then they're saying, no, we can't take you in, this and that. Then they said like no flights available, we went out. Then again I got a text that your flight will be at 10:40 or 11:40. Then again we came, we all bunch bananas, we came here. Then again the same thing. Like I don't know, like see, you should have some proper way of communication. It should be clear, either this or that, because Indigo is a very big brand, right? So
next plan, how are you going to take your team? Because
no, we had an alternative plan, so we're gonna go by bus. So that is the only option. That is the only good option that we have. So I hope we will reach very soon and with good health and mind relaxations. Thank you.
All the best.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And that's the national skating team that's going to be traveling from Chennai to make sure that if their flights are cancelled, they have to take the bus now to make sure that they reach the competition on time.
Gentlemen, that's the situation at the Chennai airport. Now we are getting more breaking news visuals from the Pune airport, where the situation for a second straight day continues to remain very grim. Yesterday we had seen a no time was issued for Pune airport because 9 out of the 10 parking bays for aircraft were occupied by Indigo, and today as well the situation continues to remain very grim. These are not visuals of yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, these are visuals of today, but the scenes are exactly the same. Indigo staff once again surrounded by passengers who are completely concerned, in a complete state of chaos. They have passed their boarding checks, they have passed their security checks, they're standing at the boarding gates and they have no answers, and the passengers now gerrymandering the staff, demanding answers. The staff there stands confused with no answers, only templated responses, no signal of any redressal or alternative flights, as Indigo operations pan-India, ladies and gentlemen, go into a complete state of paralysis. Listen into the on-ground sentiment there at the Pune airport.
You give us a solution. You don't tell what is diverted, where is it?
Your operational issues are not our problem. Last 1 hour you have done nothing.
You give us a solution. You don't tell what is diverted, where is it?
Your operational issues are not our problem. Last 1 hour you have done nothing.
You give us a solution. You don't tell what is diverted, where is it?
Your operational issues are not our problem. Last 1 hour you have done nothing. You give us a solution. You don't tell what is diverted, where is diverted. Your operational issues are not our problem. Last 1 hour you have done nothing.
All right, chaos, confusion and cries for help, ladies and gentlemen. That's the on-ground sentiment there at the Pune airport, where women, children, elderly, men, all of them have been stranded for hours long, and the only response that they are getting from their flight and Indigo is a templated response of an apology, but no sign of redressal. You can hear passengers there are urging and almost in a very panicky and crying tone to the Indigo crew there that please give us a solution. But the flight crew members there also stand helplessly with no answers to offer and only apologies to front for their corporate leaders who have completely messed up the FDL flight management of the crew and the pilots with the new regulations kicking in on November 1st. Republic has the longest and the biggest on-ground team, ladies and gentlemen, covering the updates from airports across India. As for a second straight day, you can see at the Pune airport, the chaos continues to cascade, which has been in fact one of the worst hit sectors, which has led to a lot of cascading effects, and various flights have been cancelled. We were just hearing from Shankar from Thiruvananthapuram. The Pune to Thiruvananthapuram flight was also cancelled today. In fact, flight operations from Mumbai and Delhi have been suspended for Indigo for almost the entirety of day. My colleague Shambhavi is reporting for us live from Delhi airport outside IGI, where up until 12 a.m. tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for next 12 hours, 11 hours effectively, there is going to be not a single Indigo flight taking off from India's busiest airport. India's second busiest airport, which is Mumbai International Airport. No Indigo flights to take off up until 6 p.m. as of now, the latest update. From Bengaluru, the situation remains the same. No Indigo flight takeoffs, and even from Chennai. So your 4 major airports across India. Indigo, the biggest airline in the country, which almost 60% market share, Shambhavi, says that they do not have crew to put their planes in the air and connect their partners and passengers to their destinations. It is complete chaos.
Right, Shrutat, and we are bringing ground updates to you. We are bringing the passengers, the aggrieved passengers who have been stuck someone has been stuck for 2 days, someone has been stuck for 26 hours. We'll be first speaking to this gentleman who has been stuck here for two days now.
Good afternoon. After meeting you, we got to know it's morning or afternoon. So I would like to inform that from yesterday morning, from 10 o'clock I am here. My first flight was for Delhi to Bombay. So as soon as I came, I boarded and went inside. So I saw that there was a lot of rush and everything was going on. Nothing was smooth. Everything was very, very much here and there. And then got to see the flight got delayed. First it got delayed for 1 hour, then again 1 hour. Then they started changing the gates. Then we went to the other gates and here and there. Then finally after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we got to know that the flight is cancelled. Then for coming outside, there was a big queue, more than 200, 300 people in a queue. And only one person, manually, she started writing, everybody's boarding pass. She started taking boarding pass and then ID documents, and then she left us out. And after that, for the baggages, again, then we have to go, and then again a line for that. And after taking that, then again to the ground staff, we came here to the help desk where we came for the rescheduling of the flight. And by anyhow, we waited for much 2-3 hours, and then we got a flight rescheduled for the night flight. And same way after coming night also the same thing happened. 1 hour, 2 hour delay. The things that was displayed on the board was different, and what was actually it was different. Then again late, and then till morning we waited. This morning, yesterday night, 10:15 flight it was, and today morning till 11, 12 o'clock we waited, but no help from anybody.
You're telling us that Indigo is not giving any clarity whether if at once they can tell us that by midnight the flight stands cancelled. But instead, we've gotten this report from other passengers as well that they're telling you that the flight stands cancelled till 2 hours and then again to 2 hours. That is the condition.
Yeah, actually they did not inform us in prior. If they were knowing, today also they were knowing that today's flight was cancelled. So earlier they said that the flight is cancelled. The thing was displayed on the board that the flight is cancelled. But we went, suddenly we got a message in the mobile that we revised timing, that the flight is delayed due to operational reasons and the flight will run at 9:55. But then when we got to check with the person, I spoke to the person on video call through GMR, even she was saying that if the ground staff is saying or somebody is saying, like Indigo staff, the flight is going to run, you have to wait. So when we went there, they said it's running. But then got to know that after all, after waiting till 12 o'clock, again, then the flight was cancelled and no help. Nobody was there on the ground. No single staff was there. There were elderly people, like children, small kids, 6 months kids were there. Nobody was there to help. Not a bottle of water, like glass of water was served to the passengers. No accommodation, nothing. Totally like irresponsible, like they behaved.
So viewers, we are seeing that it's not just a matter of continuous cancellations and delays, but also miserable behavior of the Indigo staff. We have another passenger with us who is a victim.
Yes, Shambhavi, but just a second, I will have to hold you there, Shambhavi, because I'm also getting in more breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, from the Pune International Airport, where the chaos continues to cascade. These are the latest visuals coming in with Republic, the only network in the entire nation tracking the latest network. This is the same trolley gate, ladies and gentlemen, where we had seen passengers stranded in an endless queue with no sign of any clarity as to where they're supposed to be headed or what they're supposed to do. And 24 hours on, the passenger situation at the Pune International Airport continues to remain exactly the same, if not worse. The passengers and the endless queues of trolley, you can see this is the trolley gate at the Pune International Airport, where the queues are only getting longer and the answers of Indigo and the airlines who are in chaos only are getting shorter. But the passengers there standing without any redressal, with Pune representing as a beacon of this colossal crisis of aviation that has been triggered, which has led to a chain reaction of multiple flight cancellations across India. These are the latest visuals coming in. Republic, the only network bringing you the latest visuals from inside airports across India, as stranded passengers continue to ask for answers on unanswered doors, and Republic will continue to raise their voices, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the day with our endless end-to-end coverage of all the major airports with the biggest team of reporters reporting from Ground Zero.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला, क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर मसाला।
And Europe, all of a sudden, wants to start a war. And if it does start a war, then very rapidly there might be a situation where we have no one to negotiate with.
When Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that if Europe starts a fight, it would soon escalate to a point where Russia has no one to negotiate with.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
एक विजनरी लीडर कैसे सोचता है, कहां से शुरू करता है और संबंधों को कहां तक पहुंचा सकता है, इसका एक उत्तम उदाहरण भारत रशिया के संबंध है।
Russian President Vladimir Putin holds a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Modi at the Hyderabad House. President Putin receives a ceremonial welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan as India and Russia summit opens. All Indigo domestic flights from Mumbai cancelled till 6 p.m. today after airlines once again runs short on crew. After Mumbai, Indigo says no domestic flights to run from Delhi airport as well up until midnight tonight. As major airlines go into a mess, the Director General for Civil Aviation asks Indigo to regulate the fares. Meanwhile, hotels and prices at around major airports are hiking up to 60,000 per night. Ladies and gentlemen, our continuing and rolling coverage on the pan-India aviation emergency continues. Hundreds of Indigo flights have been cancelled across airports in India. In Delhi, there are going to be no Indigo flights till about 12 a.m. tonight. In Mumbai, till 6 p.m. In Chennai, till 6 p.m. In Bengaluru, also multiple Indigo flights have been cancelled. The visuals on your screen are from the Pune airport, where complete chaos continues for a second straight day, and Indigo has cancelled effectively all of its domestic operations up until 6 p.m. at all major international airports. In Delhi, the biggest airport in the country, the situation is such grim that Indigo has said that they have no crew to put up any flight in air from Delhi till about 12 a.m. midnight. My colleague Gursimran now joins us live on the broadcast with more details. He's tracking. We have the biggest team of reporters, ladies and gentlemen, joining us live on the broadcast. And Gursimran, do tell us the update from where you are reporting and what is the situation at the airport.
See, right now I'm reporting from Jammu Airport, where all 9 flights of the Indigo have been cancelled, and I'm joined by the airport director देवेंद्र यादव. सर, यहाँ पर सबसे बड़े ऑपरेटर्स के तौर पे इंडिगो काम करता है. अभी का क्या स्टेटस है? सभी फ्लाइट्स कैंसिल कर दी गई हैं?
जी, आज इंडिगो की 11 फ्लाइट्स शेड्यूल थी और सभी 11 की 11 जो हैं वो कैंसिल कर दी गई हैं. इंडिगो के अलावा जो बाकी जो एयरक्राफ्ट ऑपरेटर्स हैं तो उनकी फ़्लाइट एज़ पर शेड्यूल नॉर्मल चल रही है.
सर, क्योंकि सबसे बड़ा ऑपरेटर है तो किस तरह से ऑपरेशंस जो हैं वो आपके हिट हुए हैं, क्योंकि हाफ ऑफ द फ्लाइट्स यही ऑपरेट करते हैं?
ऑपरेशंस के ऊपर तो यस एक काफ़ी इम्पेक्ट आया है, बट इट हैज़ बीन मैनेज्ड. जो पैसेंजर्स हैं एज़ पर इंडिगो स्टेशन मैनेजर्स, तो उनको यहाँ पर अकोमोडेशन और जो लोकल ट्रांसपोर्ट है वो प्रोवाइड किया गया है, और बाकी जो एयरलाइंस हैं उनमें जहाँ तक अकोमोडेशन हो पा रहा है उनका अकोमोडेशन किया गया है.
सर, आप क्योंकि शुरू से ही ड्यूटी रोस्टर को ट्रैक कर रहे थे, 1 दिसंबर से ही ये दिक्कतें आनी शुरू हो गई थी?
यहाँ पर जो इम्पेक्ट आया है वो कल से आना स्टार्ट हुआ है, क्योंकि वेडनेसडे को जैसे यहाँ पे वैसे नोटम रहता है, तो थर्सडे से जो इम्पेक्ट है, कल कुछ 4 फ्लाइट्स जो थी वो कैंसिल हुई थी, और आज लगभग इनकी 11 फ्लाइट कैंसिल हो गई हैं. तो आज मेजर इम्पैक्ट हमें.
तो सर, अभी जो ऑपरेशन टीम है इंडिगो की, क्या वो कुछ बता पा रही है कि कब तक जो है वो एक स्टेबलाइज पोजीशन पे आ पाएंगे? क्योंकि हम देख रहे हैं कि कुछ लोग भी बाहर आ रहे थे, उन्हें दिक्कतें भी हो रही हैं.
इस पर तो अभी मतलब हेडक्वार्टर लेवल पे और सारे के सारे जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं वो मिल करके इस पे काम कर रहे हैं. तो अब कब तक हो पाएगा, लेट्स सी. इस पे कुछ
कल मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सिविल एविएशन की एक मीटिंग हुई थी, जिसके बाद एक हैंड आउट आया जिसमें कुछ डिमांड्स इंडिगो ने रखी थी और कुछ डायरेक्शंस एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटी को भी दी गई कि आपको जो है पैसेंजर्स को फैसिलिटेट करना है. अभी तक अगर बात की जाए जम्मू एयरपोर्ट की, क्या सिचुएशन बिल्कुल नॉर्मल है और किस तरह से आप लोग जो है मदद कर रहे हैं पैसेंजर्स के?
जी, जम्मू के ऊपर पैसेंजर सिचुएशन जम्मू एयरपोर्ट पर बिल्कुल नॉर्मल है, और हमने पैसेंजर्स के फैसिलिटेशन के लिए जो एडिशनल मेजर्स हैं वो लिए हैं, जैसे सिटिंग अरेंजमेंट्स को लेकर के, ठीक है, टॉयलेट्स के लिए क्लीनिंग के लिए एडिशनल मैन पावर डिप्लॉय किया है, राइट. और फूड और बेवरेजेस के जो शॉप्स हैं उनको भी डायरेक्शन दिए गए हैं कि उनकी जो सप्लाईज़ के साथ, और जब तक हमारे फ़्लाइट ऑपरेशंस होंगे हैं जब तक वो अपनी जो शॉप्स हैं, ठीक है, वो ओपन रखें. एंड सिमिलरली जो एयरलाइंस हैं, जो भी यहाँ पर पैसेंजर्स जो स्ट्रक हो गए हैं, उनको लोकल ट्रांसपोर्ट और होटल एकोमोडेशन और उनका मतलब कोशिश की जाए कि उनका जो बाकी एयरलाइंस या जो भी उनका जो ऑल्टरनेट अरेंजमेंट है वो किया जाए।
सर प्राइस शूट होने जो है एक बड़ी संकट है। हालांकि अभी तक अगर बात की जाए तो प्राइस बहुत ज़्यादा शूट नहीं हुए, लेकिन आप लोग क्या उस पर भी टैब रख रहे हैं कि बाकी जो है एयरलाइंस ज़्यादा चार्ज ना करे पैसेंजर्स?
देखिए, ये एयरपोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया के परव्यू से बाहर है ये जो प्राइसेस वाला मैटर है, बट हम इस चीज़ को मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं। तो यहाँ पर तो सिचुएशन अभी प्राइसेस की नॉर्मल ही है।
तो सर पैसेंजर्स परसों एक जो चीज़ की बात कह रहे थे कि उन्हें कोई इंटीमेशन नहीं आ रहा है एयरलाइन की तरफ से, क्या वो मैटर आपने लोकल अथॉरिटी से भी टेकअप किया, जो लोकल लीडरशिप है एयरलाइन की?
जी बिल्कुल टेकअप किया है, और एयरलाइंस जो है जो अपडेट आ रहे हैं तो अकॉर्डिंगली सारे के सारे जो पैसेंजर्स हैं उनको मैसेज और बाकी मेल्स के थ्रू इंटीमेट किया जा रहा है।
सर इंडिगो की तरफ से कल जो एक स्टेटमेंट में कहा गया था कि लॉन्ग टर्म फुल ऑपरेशन रिज्यूम करने में फरवरी तक का समय लग सकता है, तो उस टाइम पे जम्मू एयरपोर्ट पर जो दिक्कतें ना आए उसके लिए क्या बाकी एयरलाइन से भी आप लोग बात कर रहे हैं कि या तो उनकी जो है स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ाई जाए, ऑपरेशंस बढ़ाए जाएँ, कुछ ऐसा किया जाए जिससे कि ये जो 11 फ्लाइट्स का गैप हो रहा है इसको कवर अप किया जा सके?
ये एक प्लानिंग का मैटर है, राइट। एयरपोर्ट पर वी आर फॉर एग्जीक्यूशन, राइट। तो प्लानिंग के लिए जो बाकी सब डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, राइट, तो दे आर प्लानिंग टू ईज आउट दिस थिंग।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर हमसे बात करने की। तो द एयरपोर्ट डायरेक्टर ऑफ द जम्मू एयरपोर्ट, ही वाज शेयरिंग डिटेल विद रिगार्ड्स टू द operations that are taking place, and he said that all the things are smooth, and after the yesterday's guidelines that have been issued after the meeting of the Minister of Civil Aviation with the Indigo operation heads and the team, it has been conveyed to them also to ensure that the people do not suffer here at the airport. Yes.
Well, it's chaotic situation across the country, ladies and gentlemen. Chaotic because as we speak, as of now, as of this minute, 1,000 flights have been cancelled across India. Airfares have shot up the roof, 5x, 6x of normal fares. In some sectors, almost as expensive or more expensive than an international flight. So I want to go across to Shankar, also joining us right from the Thiruvananthapuram airport. Meanwhile, getting you pictures from different airports across India right now. Different airports. That's not the Jammu airport. That's I think the Pune airport. But the chaos is going to continue. The bad news is that this chaos is going to continue, according to what Indigo has told DGCA, the airline regulator, saying that it's going to only stabilize, normalize by 5th or 10th of February 2026. February 2026, ladies and gentlemen, for 2 more months, it's going to be chaotic. Indigo has admitted disruptions have arisen from misjudgment, planning gaps. They admit they have failed to plan. They claim actual crew requirement for the new requirement exceeded the anticipation, admitting that they have failed. More cancellations will continue for the next 2 to 3 days. So they have given a warning that these cancellations will continue, but the truth is over 1,000 flights have already been cancelled. Just to give you an idea about how airfares have gone up, I want to show you the number, ladies and gentlemen. We had a number of how much tickets are costing you as of this minute. If you are planning to take a flight from Delhi, first of all, there are no flights from Delhi anymore. Today, no flights from Delhi at all. All flights to and from Delhi have been cancelled. And in case you plan to take a flight, can I ask the directors to also please show us the airfares? The airfares have breached normal figures. Airfares. While I get to the airfare figures, let's also tell you the DGCA report on Indigo says approximately 170 to 200 cancellations a day, but that is wrong. DGCA is also wrong last night when they gave that report, because last evening we got the number. It was 550. 550 flights were cancelled, and today over 600. So it is actually over 1,100 flights, 1,200 flights that have been cancelled, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go across to Shankar. Can I go across to Shankar? We'll go across to him and our reporters joining us from different parts of the country. We have many more videos and photos and stories coming into our newsrooms, and we would like to tell you that we are taking your calls live as well. At the bottom of the screen, we will put out the numbers in case you're stranded at any airport in India. At any airport in India, we've been talking to passengers all of yesterday, and even today we will take your voice. If you're stranded in Bengaluru, Delhi, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, wherever you are, Mumbai, call us and tell us your story. We'd like to hear from you. Shankar, what's the situation in Thiruvananthapuram? How many flights cancelled there?
As per the latest information, as many as 8 flights have been cancelled from Thiruvananthapuram International Airport, but hundreds of passengers are still being seated inside the airport. They were not even alerted, they were not even informed about the cancellations so far. They are waiting from the morning. When they came for the flights in the morning, there was a quarrel between the passengers and the security staff here. So to settle them comfortably, they were asked to be seated inside the airport, and these passengers are still being seated inside the airport for the last 6-7 hours, and they are getting upset. And some time back, a person came out with all his luggage and quarreled with the security staff, as he was not allowed to go outside, and he was not even provided any information about the possible time at which he would be able to fly. Due to this, he quarreled with him, and finally he was allowed to go. The person was going to take a room somewhere here and to plan his alternative journey options, like he was planning to get a train or interstate Volvo bus to reach Coimbatore, and from there he was planning to move to Bengaluru. This is a similar situation of hundreds of passengers still being stranded inside the airport. They all are trying to come out, as the Indigo staff are unable to, or they fail to give a proper answer on when they would be able to fly. Now the hotels here are charging double or triple the amounts of the normal fares, and even the interstate Volvo buses are also charging high amounts for their travels for various places, as they are stranded for over 2 hours, 3 hours, and there are still some passengers who are still being in Thiruvananthapuram for the last 3 days due to the cancellations and delays. The worrying part is that the Indigo is unable to give a proper answer on the approximate time when they would be able to...
Breaking news, let's go straight to the breaking news update coming in, because we're getting in more details of how these airlines may be trying to arm twist the government. Sources telling Republic that this could be a manufactured crisis. And why are we saying that? Because rosters were not prepared in accordance with the FDTL rules. There was clear lack of planning by the airline that led to the disruption. Indigo did not plan for the FDTL rules. And without exemption in the rules, disruptions will continue to happen across all airports. There will be hell at all airports in India. Indigo is now pressing for relaxation of the rules. They want the FDTL rules to be relaxed. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears like this could be part of perhaps a plan. Is it manufactured? Shaban, they've been asking for it. It was also there in the DGCA note. Is the government going to give in? Because we are now hearing not just Indigo, but even Air India has asked for some sort of relaxation. Was this a tactic all along then?
With certainty, but look at this entire planning. The fact of the matter is this, that in the ministry meeting that took place yesterday, the indication that largely came in was that there wasn't enough time, something that has now been rejected by the Aviation Ministry and as well as the DGCA. But it seems that not long enough before the DGCA actually caves in, because unless there is a change in the rules, that is with regards to the roster, I'm going to try and explain this to our viewers. Why exactly are we really looking at this kind of a crisis, and whether at all this was a manufactured crisis to begin with? Because remember, as far as the restrictions are concerned with regards to relaxation, there is a stipulated time. It turns out that the DGCA had essentially indicated that this should have been increased to roughly about 48 hours, which means that night operations of Indigo takes a direct hit at this point in time, because one of the biggest concerns that pilot associations have largely had is that there isn't enough rest that is actually given to the pilots, and that is the reason why there were certain changes that have been brought in. The normalization cannot actually take place unless there is, going back to the old rules till for some amount of time, and that's exactly what the airlines are really looking at, because right now with this kind of crisis that has actually hit, it appears that the Aviation Ministry, or for that matter the DGCA, perhaps will be left with no other option. But it seems that the DGCA has now been arm twisted here by the airlines, because it seems that unless there is going back to the old rules. Indigo will not be able to restore their operations till about the month of February, which means that the other airlines too will actually follow suit, which we are already looking at. Within about 48 hours, you have other airlines really increasing their airfares. So that is exactly something that the Ministry of Civil Aviation cannot afford at this point in time. But questions are to be raised for the Civil Aviation Ministry also. Were they not expecting this to really come in? Because, you know, it directly impacts the profit of the organization, the airline, and that's how exactly they are operating. And this should have been foreseen by the Civil Aviation Ministry to begin with. And if at all they accept the demands that are essentially being made in the form of a report that they have basically asked Indigo to submit by saying that there is a mitigation plan that they have been asked, they've asked the airline to come up with. But how long will that really hold? Whether at all there is going to be some sort of a solution inside, that's not very clear at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Shawan, stay with me because there is a video that's coming in from Bengaluru now, just to give us the scale of this crisis. I want to go back to Shawan with some details of what is happening on the ground, but look at the video from Bengaluru that's coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from the Bengaluru airport. Look at that. I'd like to pick up the audio, please. Just pick up the audio. Many of you would have used this airport in the past at some point. And those who have know the kind of chaos that we are seeing. This is a top shot of the entire airport, all terminals on the first floor there, completely not just clogged, but people shouting, screaming. Those are screams of people, screams of passengers who are just shouting their lungs out, don't know what to do. Some crazy stories coming into the newsroom, Shawan. I just read a story of a lady who was told by Indigo that a flight is cancelled. She left. She somehow struggled to get out of the airport and go home. And when she reached home, she got a call many hours later saying that, that the flight is taking off. And she said that the Indigo staff had sent her home. And suddenly they're calling her back. And it took her 2 to 3 hours to reach the airport. And she eventually missed the flight. Now, I don't know what's the latest number, but we are estimating it at over 1,100. Shawan, for how long is this madness going to continue?
As I just pointed out, it looks like the DGCA has already caved in. There is a fresh notification that has basically come in from the DGCA. We'll try and see if we can put out the notification. And I'm reading out, which essentially means that the rest period that was actually given, that has now been withdrawn. They're saying that after looking into the concerns specifically to the paragraph stipulating that no leave shall be substituted for weekly rest, in view of the ongoing operational disruptions and representations received from various airlines regarding the need to ensure continuity and stability, it has been considered necessary to review the said provision. Therefore, the instruction contained in the reference paragraph that no leave shall be substituted for weekly rest is hereby withdrawn into immediate effect.
Can we put the BBG plates also? Breaking plates, please. Breaking plates. This is a very big story. Breaking plates. This is a very big story. DGCA has given in. Shawan, that means they had, first of all, it's a pathetic implementation. And they've caved in once again to what airlines have asked for. Indigo has the last laugh.
Immediately with the Association of the Pilots, ALPA. In fact, ALPA had already flagged this off to the Civil Aviation Ministry. And it almost looks like a fixed match going on right now between the Ministry of Civil Aviation and DGCA and the airlines. Now, while this information was already out this morning, Niranjan, if you remember the breaking news that we had put out this morning, that DGCA was essentially asking Indigo that you need to, give us report every 15 days with regards to the compliance and why exactly are they seeking more time for implementation of the new rules. So it seems a clear fixed match between the Aviation Ministry, the DGCA, and of course the airlines itself. When you have the airlines literally arm twisting the regulator body. So it isn't like the regulator body is really doing its job to begin with, because you have the regulator body basically caving into what exactly the airlines want. And simply by saying that look at the ongoing crisis, wasn't the DGCA aware of it? The fact that Indigo did not have...
Shawan, I think Harsha's joining us live. I'm just bringing in Harsha, but I want you to stay with us because we'll also try and get the pilots live, Shawan. This is big because this is exactly what the pilots were saying. Pilots were warning that this is going to happen, Harsha. We knew this is going to be a fixed match. It is confirmed now after this that it's a fixed match. Fixed match confirmed.
Yes, Niranjan, you rightly pointed out. But before this new order of DGC, which has come today morning, I would like to tell all our viewers and everyone to understand that in the new FDTL order, it was stated earlier that pilots will have minimum weekly rest of continuous 48 hours, including 2 local nights, which is provided that there shall be more than 168 hours between the end of one weekly rest period and the start of the next. Let me tell you, Niranjan, that in the new FDTL, there was not many weekly offs to the pilot, and also there was not a lot of rest period, and also there was only 2 local nights period in which between they were given weekly rest. And now what we have got to know is that in the new DGC order which has come right now, it clearly says that now leave of the pilot will not be substituted with the weekly rest, which was earlier happening continuously because of the new FDTL CAR2 requirements, which after DGCA's implementation, after DGCA implementation, Indigo implemented it, but today DGCA had rolled back its only leave and weekly rest substituted order, which it mentioned earlier, giving more, more comfort and confidence to the pilots that they don't have to go on leave, they don't have to not come at work, they can join their work. And DGCA, regulatory body, and Civil Aviation Ministry, is thinking about the pilot. They are with the pilots, so we can say some ease has been given to the pilots, and therefore in the new roster, it has clearly been mentioned that pilots can come back, and this is a rollback according to the new FDTL Para 2, which has been mentioned in the FDTL. It has been revised according to the pilot's ease. Now it is both Indigo, Mocha, DGC, everyone is trying to come at a solution right now because of a major national aviation chaos, because right now at multiple airports, Indigo aircrafts are right now standing at bay. Nothing could be done because there's no crew, no pilot available. Resignations have happened, pilots have gone on strike, and Indigo is trying to right now call each and every pilot to come back, and regulatory bodies also trying to ease the FDTL order which came out earlier, giving more ease to the pilot. Now it is up to the pilots by when they will join, but right now till 2-3 days the operational issues of the Indigo is not going to stabilize or normalize right now. It is going to happen after 3-4 days only, and the proper normalization will happen next year by 10th of February only, because this is some which Indigo didn't anticipate that they will go through such massive pilot strike after the implementation of the new FDTA CAR rules. But right now with DGCA, this order, now pilots can come back. Some ease they have been given according to, if we talk about the weekly rest and about leave, which will now not be substituted with the weekly rest. Back to you.
Okay, stay with me. Shawan, now that it's withdrawn, and we suspected it would be, because this is exactly what the pilots' bodies were also suggesting on the debate last night with Arnab, that this is going to happen. Likelihood was high. They've given in. And can we now say that it's going to take at least is it safe to say 2 to 3 days for operations to normalize? Because that also was said in the DGCA order. So they knew the outcome, they knew the solution, but they waited. They perhaps wanted to see how it played out. Eventually the passengers lose. Passengers are the ones who have to pay for this.
Well, if I'm not wrong, Niranjan, all of us won't be really surprised if suddenly you see the entire operations completely normalizing. The reason being is that pilots who were basically earlier working, stretching the number of hours would be asked to do that once again. That is, their weekly rest would be reduced once again, because as per the old rules, this was roughly about 36 hours. Harsha could perhaps come in and perhaps correct me if I'm wrong here, but as per the new rules, it has been increased to about 48 hours. Now that, as I understand, if you go back to the old rules, you're essentially reducing the weekly rest to begin with, which means it is one of the most inhuman approach that has been taken by the airlines to begin with, at the cost of the safety and security of our own pilots here. You're forcing the pilots to operate under inhuman conditions to begin with. You're essentially forcing them to work for longer hours. enabling the airlines to carry out with multiple operations. Now, the reason why I was telling you a short while back that this is a manufactured crisis, at least all signs of a manufactured crisis, it's because there was enough ample amount of time that was actually given, but it's the airline which believes that this is not enough, because what essentially happened following the imposition of the new rules was that the nighttime operations had a direct impact. Indigo has a large number of nighttime operations because they have scaled up their international routes to begin with, and that is the reason why you would essentially have Indigo to curtail down on the number of operations, the nighttime operations that are being carried out. This will directly have a ripple effect, and the ripple effect would be in the domestic aircraft itself. Not just that, if I am to understand, you have had a competition actually taking place between Indigo and Air India, because on the one hand you have Indigo freezing new hirings, which means that Air India has taken an advantage of that, opening up the platform for the pilots. It seems there have been poaching that has actually taken place, and Air India, effectively was also benefiting out of it, because they've had ample amount of pilots actually coming into the picture to begin with. So if you really look at it, because of the duopoly that actually exists in the aviation sector today in India, a crisis like this has been milked by the airlines. And look at what we had already predicted, that the DGCA would cave in, and that's exactly what has happened.
Yeah, it's predicted. I'm still on the phone line. Harsha, yeah, many questions are being raised of the Civil Aviation Minister. Civil Aviation Minister perhaps has not been tough with the airlines, is what many aviation experts, pilots have been saying. Captain Minu Wadia is joining us on the phone line. Mr. Wadia, as expected, the government is caved in. Government is caved in and has withdrawn the FDTL rules. So I'd like to get your response to it.
First of all, FDTL rules have to be in place, and what was done earlier was very haphazardly done and was not scientifically done. So for the time being, if they've withdrawn it, it's fine. But this has to be done on a very scientific basis, on the basis of various research carried on, and not by whims and fancies. Earlier, the DGCA had asked the opinion of the airlines. This opinion is absolutely not required at all, because this is a matter of safety and not at anyone's whims and fancies. And your commercial requirements cannot precede over safety. Safety takes precedence over everything else. Therefore, these rules have to be in place, but in a proper manner, not in the manner that DGCA had done it earlier.
So, in your view, do you think the DGCA has been completely sort of, relaxed about the situation? They knew, perhaps it appears like they knew what is going to happen. Even airlines knew how it's going to, pan out, and they waited for it to happen, and then they've eventually got their way. It appears to be a fixed match.
Let me ask you a counter question to your question only. First of all, is DGCA equipped for aviation safety? Are there qualified people in DGCA to comment on our control aviation safety? They have no clue on what they're doing. So, therefore, I'm not even surprised at all.
Well, you blame the DGCA for all of this. Do you think that's the root cause of this?
No, that's not the root cause also. First of all, in the manner that DGCA implemented the FDTL was not the correct manner in any case. But also the very fact that they had informed the airlines that this is going to be the rule from so-and-so date, it was mandatory for the airlines to cater for it or discuss it. In the last 2 years this has been going on. Why didn't the airlines take the trouble to discuss it with DGCA, come to some decision, and then instead of at the last moment cancelling flights and putting all the passengers in a lot of difficulties?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Captain Wadia, for joining us. Blaming the DGCA, of course, for the manner in which this has played out. The manner in which this has played out, DGCA has rolled back the new rules, which is what many aviation experts feared. Captain Wadia, why was this important? If you can just break it down for our viewers, Captain Wadia, why was this new FDTL rule important? And what did it bring to Indian aviation safety and the manner in which our airlines are managed? Sir?
First of all, FDTL is a mandatory requirement in all airlines all over the world. But they cannot be mandated by DGCA by whims and fancies. It has a scientific researched manner in which it is done. And there are agencies in the world who are doing it. For example, IFAPA is one organization, Flight Safety Foundation is another organization, and ICAO is, after all, the United Nations also. So these organizations have done research on the subject. So let's go by proper research and scientifically implement FDTL, not because it suits some airline or it doesn't suit some airline, or it suits our DGCA or doesn't suit them. It has to be done on a very scientific basis, and it is mandatory for all airlines all over the world to follow it.
The DGCA mandates it, and airlines, are not prepared. Was there adequate time that was given? What is your assessment, sir, on where they bungled?
Well, I heard in this case, even though it was not correctly mandated by DGCA, they had given 2 years, or that's what I believe, very extended notice to the airlines. So if the airlines were not happy with it, or if they had some problems, they should have discussed it with DGCA. Why is it that in the last moment of flights have to be just cancelled? Why couldn't they have done it earlier?
Yeah, absolutely. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, Captain Wadia, for joining us here on Republic TV on this big breaking story. Captain Randhawa is also joining us. Captain Randhawa, you guessed it. They have rolled it back. It's happened, but the passengers are the one hit.
No, I beg to differ. You know, Prem just sent me in this. I was driving. I've stopped the car. Now, this says withdrawal of instructions regarding published weekly rest. Okay, it says, whereas in view of the ongoing operational disruptions and representations received from various airlines regarding the need to ensure continuity and stability of operation, it has been considered necessary to review the said provision. Now, therefore, the instruction contained in the paragraph that no leave shall be substituted is hereby withdrawn with immediate effect. You cannot combine the leave with weekly rest. This is what it says. Hello?
What does this mean, sir? Can you help us, put it in context?
You cannot combine the leave with the weekly rest. So where is DGCA given dispensation?
So how does this help the ongoing chaos, sir?
No, how does it help? It does not. Please try to understand. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, I have been invited for the ministry and from DGCA to join on a WebEx meet. So nothing is decided. It is going to be discussed.
You're saying it's status quo, basically.
Nothing has changed. We will come to know after 3 o'clock by evening what is going to happen.
Okay. You're saying nothing is going to change.
But what is very important is that the accountability should be taken for the passenger inconvenience. The airline has to be made responsible. The accountable manager has to be summoned. All these things have to be done, and the passengers are still lurching. There are 400 flight cancellations in 4 major cities, except Mumbai. So it's just carrying on endlessly.
Okay.
So you mean to say, even if this thing is fixed, it will be fixed in 48 hours? I'm sorry to say. It may take about a month. Remember the days last year, April, Air India, when there was a problem with the crew scheduling software, they had come to the new software. Okay, there were delays, cancellation of so many flights. Cabin crew in Air India Express, how many days? It took more than a month to stabilize. So, what is important for the government, which you people are not emphasizing? The emphasis on the government should be to immediately withdraw 6% increase in the flight schedules given in the winter schedule to Indigo. That is what they are not doing.
Okay, so you are blaming the government for this?
No, why has the 6% schedule increase has been given, approved by the DGCA for in winter schedule for if they didn't have the pilots? Who should be blamed?
Okay.
FIB is to be blamed? No. The blame the blame is on DGCA to have accepted the approval of 6% increase in the schedule.
Right.
Every schedule, summer and winter, the DGCA vets it, checks the crew availability, the infrastructure available with you, the slots available with you, then only approve the schedule.
Okay.
So you can cross-check. 6% has been the increase in this winter schedule from 1st of November.
Okay, fine. Understood. Captain Randhawa, we'll try and get you live. We'll try and get you live in just a bit, sir. We'll try and bring you live on the channel in just a bit. I have some more breaking news coming in right now into our newsrooms. I'd like to go across and get that for our viewers. Getting in two sets of pictures, one from the IGI airport, and secondly, getting in more details of the flight cancellations in Goa. Even in Goa, there have been flight cancellations. That's a video that's coming in from the Kochi airport. It's Kochi airport, and every airport seeing fiery scenes. Clashes almost in all airport. Passengers are getting restless. Many of them waiting. In some cases, people have waited for over a day inside the terminal. 31 Indigo flights have been cancelled from Goa. I have Captain Ehsan Khalid also joining us on the phone line. Mr. Khalid, what do you make of this new order that has been withdrawn, sir? The subject says withdrawal of instructions regarding published weekly rest, saying that the stipulating that no leave shall be substituted for weekly rest. Now that's So what is the implication, sir?
The implication is that the government wants the airline to come back on its feet and get the schedule on time and cause the less inconvenience to passengers. And but airline must have also given a written guarantee to the ministry and DGCA that they would rectify their mistakes and get back to a higher working pilots numbers in a short time. However, I see the problem to be very huge and much beyond FDTL rules and norms. If such cancellations, widespread cancellations continue for another, say, 4-5 days, you would see another debacle of an airline because it cannot sustain the losses that it is making in terms of pure financial terms and in terms of also the public image about Indigo. So I think all stakeholders should get together and solve the problem irrespective of the fact that whether it was fault of Indigo Airline or the management or DGCA, this problem should be solved and a timeline should be given so that the new FDTL rules be imposed upon by all airlines, but in a manner in which such disruptions do not happen. So I see it as a constructive step where the DGCA and the ministry has given some relaxation to the airline, and airline must respond with restoration of services. Withdrawing 6% of the winter schedule and all is not really the solution because they're cancelling the entire day flight in Delhi. It cannot happen because of the FDTL norms. There are more reasons than just a schedule change or 6% increase or FDTL norms. And God forbid, we have seen Jet Airways, we have seen Kingfisher, we have seen Deccan Airlines, we have seen East West. All airlines, when they fold up, this is how they fold up.
Okay, sir.
So we need to be very careful about putting the airline down because it will be 4 times bigger debacle than Jet Airways going down.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, sir. Got your point there. Got your point, Captain Khalid. Thank you for joining us with those inputs. I'm getting in some more breaking news right now that Union Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken to Ram Mohan Naidu, the Civil Aviation Minister. That's a breaking news update coming in. As chaos breaks out in all airports, in almost all airports across India, the Civil Aviation Minister has just spoken to Home Minister Amit Shah. That's a breaking news update that we're getting in right now. That call has happened a few minutes back. It should have happened a long time back, given that the chaos has been ongoing for over 36 hours now. Ram Mohan Naidu, the Civil Aviation Minister, has briefed Home Minister Amit Shah. That call has taken place a few minutes back. It's happened a few minutes back. And ladies and gentlemen, the government is watching closely, of course. a large part of the government also engaged with the ongoing visit of the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who's, as we speak, in a closed-door bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Modi. We're expecting a briefing around 1:40. We were told we will be getting a joint statement by both sides, and these are pictures coming in from different parts of the country. People are stranded for many hours. 600 and more flights cancelled today alone. 1,200 flights almost cancelled in the last 48 hours. That's over 1 lakh people, 2 lakh people directly affected, millions indirectly affected. Aishwarya Kapoor, my colleague, joining us on the phone line. Aishwarya, what is the government doing? Everyone's asking, what is the government doing on this?
Well, absolutely. 1,300 flights cancelled today, and in total more than 2,000 flights, more than 13,000 passengers in total across the country stranded. The Home Minister of the country has just spoken to the Minister of Civil Aviation, Ram Mohan Naidu, regarding this. We are being told that Ram Mohan Naidu has been told to leave every other issue on the table and get on this, keeping in mind that, yes, Indigo is the largest, and I repeat, the largest private civil aviation company in India right now, keeping in mind that there are also certain officials who have been a part of the government who are part of Indigo, because we were told that Amitabh Kant is also a non-executive director and on board. So a lot of attempts are being made by the government to reach out to the Indigo board to sort the problems. What we are being told initially is that the rule change which was done by the Ministry of Civil Aviation has directly and adversely impacted Indigo, but keeping in mind that there were rules which were told to them at least 45 days in advance. Indigo should have prepared more, which they haven't, and the result is out there for everyone to see. The whole country, more than 200 flights cancelled in the national capital and 1,300 totally today. The Home Minister has now spoken to the Minister of Civil Aviation and told him to get on it and solve it as soon as possible. Niranjan.
Okay, thank you for that. Aishwarya, a quick update on the call between the Home Minister Amit Shah and Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu. We have more breaking news coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Back-to-back updates. Indigo has issued a statement. This is a statement confirming the mess across India. Indigo national statement confirming that all Indigo domestic flights departing from Delhi on the 5th of December stand cancelled until 12 p.m. It's 11:59 p.m. We express profound apologies to all valued customers, stakeholders who have been significantly impacted by these unforeseen events. To support our affected customers, we are offering them refreshments, next available flight options as per their preference, hotel accommodation, assistance in retrieving their luggage and full refunds as applicable. All passengers who are scheduled to fly from Delhi today are requested to get in touch with our ground staff at the Delhi airport for guidance regarding luggage collection. We understand the immense inconvenience, blah, blah, blah. Distress caused, sincerely regret the inconvenience. Can you please tell me, I think we have also on the phone line, Captain Vipul Saxena joining us. Captain, this is just, Indigo saying that they will give them refreshments, next available flight options. It's not what they're making it out to be. Saying we'll give you hotel accommodation, assistance in retrieving baggage, etc. There's chaos, sir. There's chaos across all airports. And what do you make of this latest DGCA withdrawal notice, sir?
I am not surprised by this decision of the government because it was expected. And I think this is a glaring example of how an organization can take government for ransom, people for ransom, and everybody for ransom. It is not Indigo who did not know about this, because this rule was supposed to be implemented from March 2024. But all the airlines lobbied and they got some relaxation that we'll do in a phased manner. And first phase finished off in July 2025. And then they all knew that from 1st November, this rule has to be implemented 100%. All other airlines have prepared their, schedule plan and submitted, and they are following it 100%. It's only Indigo who took everything for granted. They knew that when the pressure comes on the government will definitely withdraw this. They very well knew about it. Otherwise, in September month, they are supposed to submit the winter plan. If they had prepared the complete plan, had the number of pilots available, then how this failure happened? it's a well-planned and well-strategic decision taken by Indigo, knowing that once the public pressure comes in, government will give in, and this rule will be withdrawn. And I think they've been succeeded. Now the government, unless government acts really very tough with the Indigo management, and especially let some big roles, big heads roll, I don't think any strong message will go to the other airlines, because tomorrow some other airlines will do the same thing. And day by day, the reputation and the respect of regulations by the Civil Aviation Ministry and DGCA is losing regard and respect in the public eye. I think that has to be restored at the first instance.
I'm just looking at a letter, sir. This letter has been issued by the DGCA. DGCA has put out an appeal. And the DGCA has appealed, asking for cooperation from all pilot associations, sir. They've asked for cooperation from all pilot associations, pilots amid ongoing air travel disruptions. We request earnestly full cooperation of all pilot bodies, associations, pilots across India, saying the support is indispensable to maintaining stable, smooth flight operations during this busy and weather-sensitive period, reduce avoidable delays, ensure passengers are not further inconvenienced, strengthen coordination between pilots and airlines. Suddenly, the DGCA is asking, they're basically asking pilots, former pilots, associations, pilot bodies to please not speak up. That's essentially what they've said. They've said, please don't speak up. Please don't speak up. Just get back to work.
This is, I think, unprecedented when DGCA is appealing to the pilot lobby and all that. But having said that, I think somewhere a trust has been breached by Indigo, because normally what happens is 3 months before airlines give their schedule plan for the next season, and in the month of September, Indigo must have given the schedule. But normally these things are approved by DGCA on the trust basis, which is long-term basis.
Sir,
but
Captain Saxena. Captain Saxena, I'm sorry to interrupt you, because I have to quickly go across to a passenger who's joining me live. His name is Sidhu Singh. Sidhu Singh is at the Bengaluru airport, sir. I want you to stay with me, and we'll go across to him. Sidhu, can you hear me? Sidhu's at the Bengaluru airport. I saw some chaotic pictures. Sidhu, why don't you show us around? What's happening there, Sidhu? What's happening there? Take us through what you're seeing there, Sidhu. My God.
There's complete chaos. Not a single flight has taken off since the morning.
Huh. And where are you flying to? Sidhu, where are you flying to, Sidhu?
I had a flight to Jabalpur at 11 in the morning, but it has been cancelled. And we are not provided any assistance till now.
And Sidhu, how many people, how many flights are cancelled there? Are all flights? Because I heard that over 102, we've reported over 102 flights cancelled. Look at that. I'm looking at the board. Most flights, or if not all, seem cancelled from there.
Yes, majorly all the flights have been cancelled. Any people you talk to will say that their flight has been cancelled. And not anyone is providing assistance on the help desk.
Yeah. Nobody
you
there?
Are with any media connect.
Nobody from Indigo there?
Please. We are Kashmiris.
There is.
I belong to Kashmir, and I have a flight to Jammu right now. And I'm stuck over here for a long time. And it has been like more than 6-7 hours that I'm here on the airport. We haven't slept. We are waiting here. And airport staff is too arrogant to reply to our answers. And they are so they are giving us ridiculous answers. They are saying that it would fly, then they are saying it's cancelled, then they are saying it's delayed. It has been since morning. We are here standing, and it's Indigo, and it's 6C6497. We are stuck over here.
I got Indigo. See, like I can't even speak properly. We have been resting on benches since the past 24 hours.
My God, and how many hours have you been there, Sidhu? How many hours have you been there? Keep talking.
I came to the airport at 7 in the morning. Since then, we are here. At first, they told that our flight is delayed and it will come at 2, but it has been cancelled now. And we are not provided with any food or any place to rest.
No food, because we were told Indigo's put out a statement saying we're giving food. They have just put out a statement. In fact, let me read out that statement for you, Sidhu. They have put out a statement saying they're offering refreshments, next available flight, Hotel accommodation, assistance in retrieving your luggage, full refund?
Hotel accommodation, till now we haven't received anything from the help desk. They are just not replying to anything.
Right. And what is this gentleman from Indigo telling you?
Yeah, they are just telling that every flight, that all the flight is cancelled, whichever flight we ask them.
Okay. Roughly how many passengers are there, Sidhu? How many passengers do you think are affected there around you? How many people do you see? How many gates? How many flights?
The whole boarding area is affected, and there is this community which is protesting since the morning.
My God. Okay. And everyone is just stuck inside.
Yes.
That's a live shot, ladies and gentlemen, from the Bengaluru airport. We have Sidhu Soni. Sidhu's on the phone line. He's live from the Bengaluru airport. He's flying to Jabalpur, right?
Yes, we had a flight to Jabalpur, but it has been cancelled now.
Flight to Jabalpur cancelled.
And we had no other option.
Yeah, that's a stranded passenger live. I think we have another stranded passenger also live with us on the phone line. Pradeep, stay with me, Sidhu. I have your live shot. You're live right now on Republic, Sidhu. Your camera is live, so stay with me. Because I'm also going to get in Pradeep Bhati. Pradeep Bhati is a spokesperson of Samajwadi Party who is also stuck in Hyderabad. Pradeep Bhati ji, आप कितने देर से हैं? क्या चल रहा है वहाँ पे?
Yeah, hi. I'm here on the airport from last 3-4 hours. My flight was scheduled for today afternoon. But the irony is that I have been not informed at all. When I reached the airport, it was been informed that the flight has been cancelled because there are only 3 modes of communication that you inform your passenger, that is through email or phone or message. I haven't got anything. When I reached the airport, I was told that flight has been